Hey, what's up everyone? It is Param Sandhu, and today I have a very special video for you guys. A lot of you have been emailing me asking me, hey Param, can you do a video on how to find loads using load boards? So I've decided I'll walk you through DAT's TruckersEdge. I'll give you a walkthrough of how to use the load board, how to search and filter for loads to make sure you're getting the highest paying loads. For those of you that don't know who I am, I've been in the trucking industry since 2012. I was a fleet owner, and when I was starting out, I didn't really find any resources that would help me and my business partner in starting our own fleet. So I'm hoping this will help you guys out. Let's jump right in. So the load board I'm going to give you a walkthrough of is made by DAT, which stands for Dial a Truck. There's a little history on that. They're one of the most popular load boards. They do about 900,000 loads per day. And for as long as I've been in this industry, almost everyone uses them. The other one is truckstop.com. I'm doing DAT, but know that I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not getting anything to make this video. This is just for educational purposes. So they have a lot of different load boards. So if you come to the load board section here, you'll see they have DAT Power, DAT TruckersEdge. The DAT Power has a little more features. I won't walk through everything, but I'll give you a walkthrough of DAT TruckersEdge. So let me log in. As soon as you log in, you see the dashboard and they give you an overview of the market. There's some great articles here. I would recommend keeping up to date on the freight market. It's always changing. Things change fast. Sometimes prices can flip week over week, although the market I know is very hot right now. But if you look right away on the right side, this is a very good indicator for you to see the health of the market. So depending on the type of equipment that you haul, dry van, flatbed, reefer, you can get a quick overview of how different markets look like by selecting that. So if I select dry van here I see the in and out ratio. So what this means is the total number of loads that are posted going into a market, in this case a state, and the total number of loads that are going out. So the main functionality that you'll be using is the search loads. I'll talk about alarms and post truck in a little bit, but here is where you will put your common searches in. So like if you want to check out a specific market, let's say Sacramento, California, and typically the deadhead 150 is kind of what is really good. If you want to be really tight, you can try 50 miles. 150 is a good range. That's about what it takes a driver, about 2 hours to get to. In California, it might be just a little more because of the speed laws. But let's check out a destination. So here you can do a couple things. You can actually type the exact city or a specific market you want to go to. Or if you want to go to multiple states and just feel out how it looks like, you can go ahead and add a bunch of them in combination. And typically I'll do a whole bunch of, as I know the market. I know Florida is not good for going back to Cali, not around here during watermelon season, it may be, but I'll put in typically markets that I am familiar with. Maybe I have some broker connections for the backhauls, these different states here. So then you get to your truck type and select what type of equipment that you have. I won't go into too much detail in a lot of these equipments, but for now we'll just review dry vans, standard dry vans. And length and weight I would leave empty for now. Typically full is what you want to select. If you are really in a tight squeeze and you're struggling to get out, maybe you can try to piece together a couple of partials. I've rarely done that in my time as a carrier. And the look back time, 24 hours. Times are good right now for carriers, so rarely do you need to look longer than that. And so let's say that there is a load we're looking for tomorrow, and we can just go ahead and click search. So if you look right now, there isn't a lot of loads coming out of a 50-mile radius from Sacramento. So if I go back, change that to 150 and a little double, but right now this number looks very small. It is nighttime here, so a lot of the postings are not live and not active. I just want to give you a feel of how to use the load board. If you notice the age here, there's still people posting 7 minutes ago, 17 minutes ago, 27, 1 hour. It's about 11 p.m. on the West Coast. Maybe some of these folks are working at this time, and oftentimes they're auto posting these loads from their TMS or transportation management software. So if you're really in a tight squeeze, you need a call, you can give it a call even at this time, but know that sometimes late at night these could be auto posting. But sort by age. Here you can look at the origin, destination, the different weights. So, you know, if you know your cost to run a truck, you should have an idea of at least 2 key weights. I would say, you know, max weight around 44, 43.5, and, you know, anything below 20,000 pounds. What is your fuel cost and your miles per gallon average for your different trucks? One thing I want to mention about the age here. So if the market is bad, you want to try call the recent ones. Oftentimes you got to be ready. I'll talk about alarms in a second, but as soon as it pops up, you want to give it a call and try to be the first one on the line. Even though you can play it cool and just say, hey, I just saw your posting, but you want to try to fire that trigger right away and be fast with the dials. That's more the case when the market is bad. Right now markets are good, so you won't have that many of an issues. But let's go through a couple of these loads here. So if you see here, the CS, that's the credit score, and the DTP, the days to pay of the different brokers. If you haven't worked with some of them, keep an eye on these. When you see companies like fall below like 74 at that low range, and you see 52 days to pay, even though your factoring company may approve them, you know, keep in mind, read your factoring contracts. After 30 days, you're paying a higher percentage to the factoring company. And if you have 52 days to pay, expect that you'll be going into different percentage tiers that go to the factoring company. We typically just, you know, try to avoid very low credit scores. So just something that you need to look for. So a lot of times you'll see here in the offer section that some brokers have actually put the rate. Let me just sort by this just to see what's going on in the market. Again, this is 11 p.m. at night, so there will be a lot more. But if you look here 10 hours ago, this broker here put a 6,000 going to from Tracy, California to Albany, Georgia. If you go through here, you look at it's a light load, commodities, just pallets. So it's empty pallets that you're probably hauling. 27,000 pounds, very light, very good on the fuel. U.S. citizen, clean background. That tells me this may be a army or government facility if they require citizenship from the driver. And maybe that's why they're paying so much for pallets. I know my market. I know in Tracy, they do have a defense depot. So I know a lot of times they have military loads that come out of there. So keep an eye on that. Check the ratings. I wouldn't weigh too much on the ratings as much as the credit score here. But when you are looking for a broker, you see a load you're interested in, just remember you can always run the MC number by the factoring company to see if they're approved. If you haven't heard of the broker before, just watch out for the low credit scores, even though your factoring company may approve them. So here's another load coming out of Hayward, California, going to Brookshire, Texas. 30,000 pounds, looking good, by Landstar. Posted for 4,800, which is pretty decent for going to Texas. Probably can get squeezed a little more if you notice here to Houston, almost 5,500. I know it's about 1,900, 1,800 miles right here. But if you look in the comments, there's an extra drop in Dallas. Not only are you going to Dallas for about 1,600 miles, then you're driving 250, 270 miles down to Houston. So be on the lookout for some of these posted rates and check the comment section, because there may be extra drops or other information that helps you ahead of time when you're calling to book some loads. So I'll give you some tips later, but this is out of the tips section, so you guys get a bonus tip today. If you look at this load and you go to the comment section, these are things to look out for. If you're new to the industry, what you want to do is try to get dedicated contracts or work with brokers that can provide you consistent freight. So if I'm looking at Modesto and North Lake and I'm going in the comment to see clean pet food loaded on pallets, 3 available, deliver Monday. Right away, this should put some signals in your mind that, hey, this broker, Traffics, has 3 today. It's pet food. Pet food is constantly being shipped out. Maybe this is something that they consistently ship out of in the Tracy or Modesto area for a pet food shipper. Let's say you end up doing this load. You want to try to get that information from the broker. Say, hey, do you run these often? Are you on a mailing list? So if they have a mailing list, try to get on that mailing list so they can email you these loads ahead of time before they post them to the load board. So a lot of times these brokers will email out their preferred carriers that they work with regularly, different loads that they have that they want to work with, people that they trust, and you want to try to get on a lot of those lists. And these kind of things should give you signals and saying, hey, there may be some consistency here. Let me try to build a relationship. So that's one of the keys. If you're starting off new, don't just go for the shoot and gun. Of course, you're going to have to try to make money. You're going to have to get those wheels running because you have payments to pay. You've invested a lot to start a trucking business. But always keep in mind the bigger picture. You want to try to establish relationship. One other trick I want to show you is if you're doing a lot of these searches in different markets, like your outbound Sacramento or Sacramento NorCal region or outbound Dallas, try to use the favorite searches feature. So you just click save to favorites and you can call it whatever. Just for simplicity, let me save this to favorites here. So it's saved. So if I just go back to new search here, so you can just come over here and select your favorites and it'll auto populate everything. Hit search, you're good to go. Another good feature is right next to it is the recent. If that's too much work for you, you can just go to the recent searches and select what you've searched, and you'll be able to auto populate that information and be quick with the system. So the other thing I want to show you guys is the truck postings. So this is something cool, especially if the market's tough or if you're on the go, you have a couple days to book a truck. Try to use this feature. I mean, I know a lot of people that don't use it, but it oftentimes can be helpful. Let's say you're traveling and you have to book a truck Friday. So you can go ahead and just put in, the different regions that you're looking for, very similar to the search. And let's just put Cali here. You can just put CA and the day that you're looking to book that truck, put the fee, put the pounds, you could put 42,000, 43, whatever. And if you want to shop around, put your preferred contact in there. It could be added in one of your account settings. And if you have anything specific, like, hey, this is a vented dry van or food grade, you can go ahead and add that in there. And another thing is you can also create an alarm. So this will be helpful if you want to go create an alarm that will do a ping on your computer. So anytime that load will pop up. And so in terms of feet, let's just put 53 feet post. And now brokers will see this posting, and especially the ones when the markets are tough for the brokers, they'll be going through this section and calling on the different trucks just to find that truck that can haul their load. So if you're shopping around or if you have a couple days, I always recommend you post your truck, even though I know a lot of people don't. I think it's a waste. It's all about opportunity. And it doesn't take that much effort. So post your trucks, guys, and you can post multiple trucks. If you have a driver that needs to come out of Atlanta, but you want to try different markets like in a bigger radius, you can try multiple cities that are around those areas. And if you're doing multiple trucks, for sure, add all your different postings. If you have a consistent schedule and you know, let's say this driver's coming back Tuesday of next week after 4 or 5 days, you can even put a posting for the future. And there's some early bird brokers that will try to lock in capacity and lock in a truck early on, and you may be able to get a decent rate, as they're willing to pay it to not deal with a lot of that effort. So it's just a little trick. You'll get the phone calls, nothing wrong with that. If you want more content, let us know in the comments what type of content do you want to see, and hit that subscribe button so you'll be the first to notified when we pump out our next video. I will see you guys next time.